Tonight, the Target 12 investigators take you inside the Mafia. It was a daring crime, a holdup of a secret Mafia vault. Tonight, for the first time, hear from one of the hostages who lived to tell about it.
He says, "Tell her not to look at me. I'm going to blow off her f***ing head."
And watch never-before-seen video of the man who would dare rob from the mob.
My name's on that bullet. I hope it never finds me.
Our investigation, more than 2 years in the making, uncovers stunning new details.
Target 12 investigator Tim White is in Providence now with the exclusive story.
101 Cranston Street in Providence was once one of the safest places to hide money. It used to hold a secret room filled with safe deposit boxes rented by wise guys and their associates. But that all changed when one man led a band of thieves into the greatest heist in Rhode Island's history.
August 14th, 1975. Robert J. Dussault, known as the Deuce, casually walked in the front door of Hudson First Storage on Cranston Street in Providence. He reached into his briefcase and pulled out a handgun.
I'm looking at this gun because he had it like on my shoulder, and it's pointing at me like this, and I looked over and I said, "Are those real bullets in that gun?"
It was the beginning of the greatest heist Rhode Island has ever seen. Barbara Oliva, a master furrier, was one of the 5 hostages that day.
That's just what I thought. I says, "I'm never going to see my babies again." And I says, "Oh, it was very scary."
Dussault lined the hostages up and put pillowcases over their heads. 7 men rumbled out of a nearby van, hauling drills, crowbars, and massive duffel bags. They knew what few people did. Hudson First Storage also housed a secret room with 146 large safe deposit boxes stuffed with millions of dollars in valuables.
Could hear them drilling, and then I could hear the doors, the big heavy doors falling to the floor, and it sounded just like sewer caps.
Inside most of those safe deposit boxes were the spoils from a powerful organized crime family run by the reputed boss, Raymond L.S. Patriarca. This is actual film shot by Eyewitness News from that day in 1975, the day the heist went down. The boxes are gone now. This is where they were hidden. All of us saw the secret room hours after the bandits left.
You just would not believe. It was knee-deep. Money, silver bars, gold bars, raw gems, guns.
And that's what was left behind.
That's what was left behind.
So can you imagine what was taken?
Oh, unbelievable what was taken.
Who would ever rob from the mob, right?
Only somebody with a death wish.
University of Connecticut professor Wayne Wister responded to the robbery that day as a reporter for the Providence Journal.
No way that something like this could have gone down on Raymond Patriarca's territory, either without his consent or his approval.
$1 million.
Robert Dussault couldn't agree more. Listen for yourself. This is never-before-seen video of the Deuce years after the heist.
Because we already had the okay from the man. And what I mean by that, you know who I mean when I say the old man, the number one, the uno, Raymond Patriarca, the boss in New England. Nobody does nothing big in this whole area without his okay and without him getting a piece of the action.
This video was shot while Dussault was in the Witness Protection Program. He's speaking to police trainees as a mob expert.
It was one of the schools of the century, as far as I'm concerned. It was the ultimate. I went from rags to riches.
Police tried to connect the dots back to Patriarca, but he was never charged. Dussault fled, and for good reason.
So people wanted him dead. I mean, you'd have to have him dead because of what he knew. You know, he could implicate anybody.
I knew they tried to kill me in Dallas, Texas, and Las Vegas, and Chicago. I knew that because I was the one that was running.
It was the police, not the mob, who eventually tracked Dussault down. With a contract out on his life, Dussault cooperated and testified against his accomplices. Several people from his own crew went to prison, and Dussault disappeared into the Witness Protection Program.
What you guys all want?
It took more than 2 years, but Target 12 has obtained Dussault's massive 362-page FBI file. Much of the information was removed by the federal government, but we were able to piece together what happened to the Deuce, and this may be the greatest twist of all.
The file reveals Dussault changed his name to Robert Dempsey, And unbelievably, we now know he robbed banks and businesses while in the witness protection program. Dussault was eventually nabbed and served a few years in prison. Then the file goes cold. But Target 12 kept on the trail and eventually tracked down this.
It's in the name of the Lord who made heaven and earth.
You're watching the funeral of Robert Dussault, a.k.a. Robert Dempsey. Very few people have ever seen this tape. The funeral home says they recorded the burial in 1992 to prove to the government that he was dead. The death certificate shows he died of a heart attack. But there's one nagging problem with the video.
There's a break in the tape.
Moments after they close the lid, watch closely, the videotape jumps. Then they lower the casket into the ground.
What do you think?
I suspect, if I had to bet money, I would bet that he's dead, but I don't know, 75-25? The possibility's there, and he was a liar. And it'd be like him to lie right to his grave, and beyond, if he could.
During our investigation, we interviewed several members of Dussault's family. They say the last time anyone had contact with him was when a sister saw him at a funeral in 1994. That's 2 years after the federal government says Dussault died. This report was researched along with Wayne Wister and writer Randall Richard. With the Target 12 investigators, Tim White, Eyewitness News.
This exclusive Target 12 investigation doesn't end here. Log on to WPRI.com for an in-depth look into the biggest heist in Rhode Island history. Here the lead gunmen talk about an attempted hit and use an interactive chart of the key players to find out where are they now.